This is CGTN, China Global Television Network.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi signs agreement with Egyptian counterpart and discusses vaccine production cooperation. The World Food Programme launches its first humanitarian flight to Mekelle in Ethiopia. And Nigeria puts 6 states on COVID-19 red alert as it restricts gatherings. Welcome to Africa Live on CGTN with me, Beatrice Marshall, in Nairobi. Also ahead on the program, Tunisia records its highest COVID daily death in Africa and the Arab world. And a Kenyan scientist develops a reusable nanomask that will help prevent the spread of COVID-19. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi is now in Egypt for talks with the country's president and foreign minister. Local media says the two foreign ministers signed an agreement on enhancing bilateral intergovernmental cooperation. They also watched a short video on joint production of Sinovac's COVID-19 vaccine. On Saturday, Wang Yi was in Syria, where he met with Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. During the meeting, Wang Yi said China would seek to bolster cooperation with Syria. He said the two countries have trusted and supported one another since diplomatic ties were established 65 years ago. Wang Yi also held talks with his Syrian counterpart Faisal Mekdad, and on Saturday he spoke by telephone with Iran's foreign minister on Saturday, and the two sides agreed to expand cooperation. After Egypt, Wang Yi will head to Algeria. Well, let's get more on the foreign minister's visit, and I'm joined by Nurhan El Sheikh, Professor of Political Science at the Cairo University. Professor, thank you for joining us on Africa Live. Now, the Chinese State Councillor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi held bilateral meetings with Egyptian officials today. How significant is his visit?
His Excellency visit is very important. It's an annual and regular visit. Since '91, we in Egypt expecting his visit every year, and it is really important to push forward the cooperation. Along the 3 decades, it was a highly important visit. He has a meeting with President Sisi, with our Minister for Foreign Affairs, and I think it was very important on mutual level and regional also. Mutual level, we have a wide range of cooperation with China. Our strategic cooperation in many fields concerning Belt and Road initiative, concerning also the Chinese industrial zone in Egypt. We now have a very important, crucial cooperation concerning COVID-19 and the Sinopharm. We're expecting more and more from China in that field. And on regional level also, His Excellency visit was highly important, as he visited before Syria and confirmed the Chinese push forward stability in Syria, countering terrorism in Syria, and pushing forward also rebuilding in Syria, which all matching the Egyptian national security and Egyptian national interest, actually.
Right. So can you expound on this strategic cooperation for us? How important is China to Egypt's economic development?
China, a very important strategic partner to Egypt in development. We have a very fruitful and cooperation up to the date in many fields. Most important, Belt and Road initiative. Egypt will be a very important cornerstone in the Chinese project, which actually it is a worldwide project. We have also the Chinese industrial zone in Suez Canal, which is very important and will push more and more forward the development in Egypt. We have cooperation in many technical, economic technical fields, which all actually serve the development in Egypt at mutual and bilateral level, and also regional level in Africa and Middle East. And actually Egypt look forward to more and more strategic cooperation in technical and economic, also as in trade and all fields of development. And most important now, as I mentioned, COVID-19, because it's very challengeable in Egypt to overcome such problem and launch the development and prosperity again in Egypt.
So, Professor, what do you expect to come out of the Chinese foreign minister's visit?
His Excellency visit confirms that China is considering Egypt as a very strategic partner in Africa and in Middle East, and that China is really interested to enhance Egyptian national security and interests in all fields, including development, including also the problem or that negotiation is going on with Ethiopia concerning water, because China really interested in stability in the region and to push forward development in all African countries, including Egypt and Ethiopia. So Egypt look forward for a more active Chinese role in that, and to really playing a very important role in pushing forward negotiation ahead and to reach a settlement which is satisfied both Egypt and Ethiopia at the same time, and enhance regional stability in whole Africa.
All right, Professor Nurhan El Sheikh joining us there from Cairo. Thank you. The World Food Programme has launched its first humanitarian flight to Mekelle in the Tigray region. The Ethiopian government approved the relief flight. Here is CGTN's Girum Chala with more details.
After a deliberate and constructive consultation with the Ethiopian government, the World Food Programme has now started humanitarian flights to Tigray. And the first of those flights took off on Friday from Addis Ababa to Mekelle. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, 6 people were on board with money to fund humanitarian operations of the organization in the region, pay salaries of humanitarian workers in 21 waredas, and wages for several laborers. The ministry further said that in line with the government's directive, the flight used Bole International Airport in Addis Ababa as a departure point and reportedly returned to the same airport on the same day. This has also reportedly been confirmed by the TPLF in Tigray, though it is still difficult to establish communication due to a telecom services blackout in the region. The WFP and Addis Ababa said this new development on humanitarian flights to Mekelle will definitely play a crucial role in swiftly and efficiently delivering aid to the hundreds of thousands of people affected by the war. Ethiopian authorities say the government has maintained its commitment to provide humanitarian assistance to the Tigray region and has also brought in several trucks loaded with humanitarian aid from the port of Djibouti that are now heading to the region. Group Dara CGTN, Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
The Nigerian government has put 6 of the federal states on red alert following a surge in coronavirus cases. The government's move is also driven by the emergence of the Delta variant in the states. The listed regions include Abuja, the capital Lagos, Oyo, Rivers, Kaduna, Kano and Plateau states. The Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 has expressed worries over early signs of a third wave of the pandemic. A statement released by the committee on Sunday has urged the states to increase preparedness while enforcing strict COVID-19 protocols. The statement has also recommended a decentralized Eid prayer during Tuesday's Eid ul-Hajj festivities. It is hoped that holding the prayer outside the neighborhood mosques will reduce chances of the virus spreading. While still on the coronavirus updates on the continent, Tunisia recorded 205 deaths Friday, a daily record since the start of the pandemic. The health ministry also reported 6,787 new cases, raising concerns about the country's ability to fight the pandemic. Hospitals are lacking medical oxygen and intensive care units are full. Meanwhile, the vaccination campaign remains slow in the North African state. Anen Chauchi reports.
The World Health Organization says that the daily death rate in Tunisia is the highest in Africa and the Arab world. The country's health department has called the situation catastrophic.
We are determined to win this war against the pandemic. Tunisians can overcome this health crisis. The health system will not collapse because our heroes are saving lives every day. All medics, paramedics and military health personnel are engaged in this fight on the ground. We will stay strong and resist until this difficult situation is over.
Hisham Mishishi added that the national vaccination campaign will be accelerated in the next few days. Many countries have promised to deliver over 3.5 million doses of coronavirus vaccines to Tunis.
We have stepped up the vaccination campaign nationwide in more than 100 centers. The health department has dedicated mobile vaccination teams which go to citizens at home and in remote regions. The private sector also joined the fight led by the public health facilities. Even the civil society is playing an important role to curb the pandemic.
The Tunisian Ministry of Health has received medical equipment from dozens of countries. These donations include thousands of ventilators, some 5 million protective masks, and tons of disinfection products.
As part of the international solidarity movement with Tunisia, we've received tons of medical equipment from friendly countries, including Italy. We thank all our partners and friends who did not hesitate to offer help at this critical period and support during the fight against the pandemic.
The death toll has surpassed 17,000 since the outbreak of the pandemic in March 2020. Experts assert that about 4,000 deaths have not been included in official figures. Therefore, the real number of COVID-19 fatalities in Tunisia is about 21,000. After successfully containing the virus last year, Tunisia is now grappling with the rise in infections. Many countries have united to support the North African state as it struggles to contain the fourth wave of the coronavirus pandemic. Abden Shawishi, CGTN, Tunis.
And we still have more news for you here in the program. To stay with us.
Africa is a continent of diversity, with varied climates and enchanting geography, and a people so distinct, but with a shared enduring spirit. We are at the heart of the continent to bring you the untold stories.
Let's have a look.
We celebrate Africa as it shapes its own destiny.
Abden Shawishi, Tunis.
Sharia.
Juba, Ethiopia, Tanzania.
Africa Live. Find your voice.
Egypt has moved to tame the use of three-wheeled vehicles, popularly known as tuk-tuks, by imposing legislation on the owners. Tuk-tuk owners will now be required to either license the auto rickshaws or replace them with minivans. CGTN's Joy Kuruki Juma reports.
The tuk-tuk, a nuisance to some as they weave through traffic on Egypt's chaotic city streets. To others, they're a cheap way to get from A to B in a fraction of time. Now, the government wants to regulate the three-wheeled motorized rickshaws by introducing a national licensing system. The government is also urging drivers to convert to natural gas-powered minibuses.
This tuk-tuk is our life and our future. We don't care about licensing. We don't care about a car worth millions. I am disabled and suffer from paralysis. I can go get a car, but it won't benefit me the way this small machine helps me. It feeds my children and feeds me.
The government says licensing tuk-tuks will help trace those responsible for accidents or crimes. It will also tame underage driving and provide drivers with insurance and a pension.
Yes, there are a lot of flaws. Children sometimes ride it. But everything has positives and negatives. The authorities previously told us to issue police license, so we issued them. That could be a solution. Or they could ask us to go register with the district and pay taxes every year. Maybe they could change the appearance of the tuk-tuk.
These licenses are granted to the owners of the tuk-tuk so that it is safe to drive on the street. Therefore, the citizen who uses the tuk-tuk will feel safe because he is riding in a vehicle that has become regulated and has a legal status, and its data is known.
Some drivers have welcomed the licensing plan. They are, however, opposed to trading in their tuk-tuks for minivans.
If they will license the tuk-tuks, then I agree. But the thing about a car, how will I pay the installments? What about the apartment rentals? I want one thing, this tuk-tuk. I'm willing to license and drive it. Everyone is pleased with the tuk-tuk. It is good, and the fare is only 5 Egyptian pounds. We take the customer everywhere. Even if the customer wants to go up the stairs, we help them carry their bags up the stairs, then help them come down, then we leave. But a minibus won't assist customers to their homes. The most they will do is let them come off at the beginning of the street.
Some residents have hailed the tuk-tuk as a blessing.
This gives us comfort when we are tired. Whenever I call him, he comes straight away and takes me wherever I want to go. If I take a car, I will have to wait for an hour or two by the time it gets here. But this is always here on the street. It's a mercy for people who are ailing, or for someone who has an errand to run, to make it to work on time, or to catch the minibus on time.
Officials estimate there may be as many as 4 million tuk-tuks in Egypt, which are either unlicensed or licensed under varying local rules. Joy Kirukijuma, CGTN.
To South Africa now, where a leopard seal has made a rare appearance along the country's coastline after one was found on a popular Cape Town beach. The animals are primarily found in the Antarctica, but have in the past been sighted along the Cape Coast. Wildlife authorities there have been keeping a close eye on the animal after its appearance caused a bit of excitement amongst the curious public. CGTN's Travers Andrews has more details.
It's a common sight along the cold, icy waters of Antarctica, but not at the balmy coastline of the Western Cape. This leopard seal is a rare visitor to these shores. It's one of only 20 of the species thought to have come to the coastline. It has now taken up temporary residence at Cape Town's Komiki Beach and is causing quite a spectacle.
The leopard seal does pose a potential danger to people. It's obviously a wild animal. It's not from this area. And also people pose a potential danger to it as well, because people get very close, they can stress it out, the dogs can stress it out. So it's a bit of coming from both sides. So it's important to protect people and the seal, that there's just a cordon put up and that everybody keeps their distance.
The leopard seal's large size clearly distinguishes it from the local population of Cape fur seals, who are smaller. The area surrounding the animal has also been cordoned off to prevent any unwanted encounters with the public. This is the second leopard seal to come ashore in Cape Town in 3 years. For some wildlife enthusiasts, the arrival of the leopard seal offers a unique opportunity to get a close-up view of this rare visitor.
One of 5 seals we have, 4 of them being vagrants. I had seen reports that I think SANCOB or other wildlife sort of organisations have looked after it, they have tagged it, it's not sick, it's not dying, and it's going to go back into the water.
Normally we come to this area for birding, but to see a leopard seal is really something special and something we're not likely to see again. It's probably a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and it's absolutely beautiful with the spots on its belly.
For now though, the seal has been tagged by wildlife experts and is expected to make the journey back to Antarctica in the not too distant future, once it gains enough strength for that lengthy journey. Travers Andrews, CGTN, Cape Town.
Well, let's now take a look at your sports news. Here's what's ahead. Kenya keeps her 2023 Rugby World Cup hopes alive after proceeding to the next round of qualifiers.
It's taken me completely out of my depth, but at the same time it's exciting. It's new, it's different, it's a challenge.
It's really exciting.
Kenya kept their hopes of playing in the 2023 Rugby World Cup alive when they outclassed Zambia 45-8 in Nairobi to secure a spot in the final round of qualifiers earlier this month. The team now aims to be ready for the final push to France, as CGTN's Mohamed Abubakar tells us.
After nearly 2 years of no international rugby in Kenya, Nairobi hosted Pool B matches of the 2021 Rugby Africa Cup earlier this month. Senegal topped the group by stunning Kenya Simbas 20-19 before beating Zambia 20-5 to top the group. That left the hosts needing to beat Zambia in the final pool match to proceed to next year's knockout phase of the 2023 Rugby World Cup qualifiers. Kenya atoned for the opening defeat by crushing Zambia 45-8 to keep their dream of qualifying for their first ever World Cup alive.
We fixed some of the challenges in the scrum. Our lineup was much better today, and those are the two crucial set pieces in 15-a-side rugby. So once we fixed those, then at least we had a platform and a foundation to play.
Few spectators were allowed into the stadium for this year's competition due to strict COVID-19 protocols. Those lucky enough were ecstatic to be in the stands again, cheering for their teams.
It's such a pleasure. We've not had international events for so long, so having such an event in our country, it means so much to us as a rugby fan. I know it's not easy, and okay, as you can see, guys have really tried to maintain their distance and all that. Those are conditions we had.
Kenya Simbas have now started preparations for the 2022 Rugby Africa Cup. This will double up as the continent's final qualifying round for the 2023 Rugby World Cup.
If we do not prepare for the next 11 or so months, we are not going to make the World Cup in France. I can tell you for sure. It has to be a year's preparation. There are so many dynamics that determine whether we prepare or not. Funding is a crucial one. The local league as well, when it runs, when it's off. COVID will also determine whether we prepare for a year. So if we can get government support to facilitate our training to continue, that's going to help us quite a great deal. So we need many stakeholders, government, the secretariat, the clubs, and then of course ourselves as management.
The winner of the straight knockout competition next year will qualify for the global showpiece, while the runner-up will advance to the final world qualification tournament.
The Simbas now have a year to prepare for the 2022 Africa Rugby Cup, where 8 of the best teams in the continent will be battling it out for the all-important direct World Cup spot in France. Mohamed Abubakar for CGTN, Nairobi, Kenya.
In football, the Egyptian side Ahly sealed a record-extending 10th African Championships League title after beating 10-man Kaizer Chiefs of South Africa 3-0 in Saturday's final in Casablanca, Morocco. The Egyptian fans took to the streets in Cairo celebrating their club's record-extending Al-Ashra, meaning the 10th Champions League title. The second half goals from Mohamed Sherif, Mohamed Magdi and Amir El Sulaya were enough to see out the South African side. Last night's victory makes Al Ahly the first club to win back-to-back Champions League titles 3 times. The Egyptian giant will now be Africa's representative for a second year running at this year's FIFA Club World Cup that will be held in Japan.
This is the best day of my life. Al Ahly won the 10th. It's a beautiful day for me and my friends. 3 wonderful goals. The match started roughly, but gradually Al Ahly managed to gain control. It was wonderful to see my team win 2 consecutive titles. In less than 1 year, Al Ahly reached the final twice. They are such a strong team.
Al Ahly's best coach since Jose is Mosemane. Their tactics greatly matured. It's the first time I see Al Ahly play the game wonderfully. This is the best football display for Al Ahly. Winning is not an easy craft. Today's match was one of the best matches Al Ahly played.
This is an indescribable feeling. The team I've been supporting since I was a kid has brought us 10 Champions League trophies. I used to love Mosimane before he joined Al Ahly. He is a coach that has restructured Al Ahly. The team has a strong defense line, midfield and offensive power. They are unbeatable. Al Ahly is the king of Africa. Winning is a norm for this team.